foremost, we'd like to say thank you to everybody that watched our first video. We are so appreciative.
Honestly, like, it's been so mind-blowing. The feedback has been so... I appreciate it so much. I thank you, everybody who took the time out to watch it and to comment and to even send private messages. Like, and the viewers, I think we have to like 100 views on our first one.
Hey.
We genuinely appreciate that you guys took the time out to see what we had to say. So, thank you.
Yes, definitely.
Welcome to 4 Degrees. Where we just share with everybody and talk about our experiences, I guess, from the last time we recorded.
Yes. So what we want to segue into this for this video is talking about intentions and a few other things.
Okay.
But what we wanted to express, I guess, initially as we start out, is moving with intention throughout the year of 2019. And so your intentions for 2019 can be vast, and I think for both of us there's a lot of different things that we want to cover for this year, but moving with intention is important, and examining your intention is important.
Right. So we live in a culture where people will walk up to you and be like, oh my god, like, let's say they haven't seen you in a while, oh my god, you put on so much weight,
girl.
And one of my thing always used to be like, what is this, like, what's your intention for telling someone you put on so much weight?
Exactly.
Like, what is it that you were trying to convey? Like, why couldn't that person just say, I haven't seen you in such a long while? Like, what's the point? Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, girl, you did. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
What's the point? So, I'm big on intentions because I'm like, what's the point of what you just said? And I know that it isn't like state of the art, or it isn't a natural response to think of why you say something and why you do something, but it's something that we can do and that we should be able to do often. Like, why do you say the things you say?
Exactly.
Why do you do the things you do? Why do you make the decisions that you make?
Exactly. And that's an important thing, to have that conversation with yourself, because this past week I've been thinking a lot, and I asked my close friends, like, behind the things that we say, behind the things that we do we think it's the intention to hurt people? And so that varies. And a lot of the times you might have things in your mind, you might have things in your heart or on your heart that you need to express. And so sometimes we offend people. Sometimes we say things that we necessarily don't mean to say, but behind it, is it your intention to get your message across, or is it your intention to be malicious? Is it your intention to hurt people? And so we have to examine our intentions, because reality is, when things happen and manifest in our lives, we have to look at what's behind those things manifesting.
Boom. And I'm glad she used the word manifest, because I feel like at the end of the day, we in control of our reality. That's one of the things, like, that's one of my core beliefs, that like things happen, like even the people that I meet, I feel like I met this person or I had this experience because this is an experience that was good for my highest good. Like, this is something that I needed to experience, or whatever the case may be. So why did I react this way? Did I react this way because maybe this person transmits something that hurts me, or something that I haven't healed, and so I lash out, or I like did something malicious, because I don't think I'm a malicious person per se, but I have done, I mean, we all have, but I've done,
Of course, we've all done things that have offended or hurt somebody in some way, fashion, or another. But I think, like you said, was that your intention? And then what's on the inside, and
why did I react like that?
Exactly. And
why did I lash out?
Exactly. And there's different stimulus, there are different things that are going to cause a different response. And so the reality is, examining your intentions better helps you to navigate. Because if you now say, okay, Danica hurt my feelings, and I want her to understand that she hurt my feelings, what I say is going to, how I feel about it, my intentions about it is going to dictate my response. Is it my intention to hurt her, or is it my intention to just get across, listen, you hurt my feelings? So you have to examine for yourself where you're at and what you're going through, and that guides your response a lot of the times.
Do you think it's different when it comes to intent? Do you think your intentions, let me see how I try to ask this. Do you think it's easier to, I'm trying to not ask a yes or no question, but I think it's gonna come out as a yes or no question for us. But do you think it's easier to explain your intent with females or with males?
That's a really good question. Honestly, for me, being someone that has a very small pool of friends, it's easier for me to explain my intention to males. The reason being, it's easier for me to explain my intention to males because the reality is, I think that men see things more as this is A and B, whereas women see things as A point A point and A point AAB, whereas men are just straightforward. Now that's my take on things. Doesn't have to be everybody's opinion, but that's just how I feel. I feel like if you approach somebody and you say, okay, this was my intention, if they're of the male persuasion, they're gonna, oh, fine. But for a woman, they're gonna read between the lines. And so they're not gonna just read that intention as what you say it is.
So the thing I love about this channel is Jarrell and I are so different but the same in so many ways, and that's what I think would makes our friendship work in general.
Yes.
Because I think we connect on such a deep level that like the surface level is like, oh, because like for me, I think like I have a lot of female friends, and I think like when I explain to a female friend like, you know, this is how I feel, you know, with your words you hurt me how you say this or whatever, I feel like they get it more.
Really?
And I do.
Wow.
But I don't feel like I get that from males. I feel like men kind of like cut me off with it. But like if I tell a female friend, you know, it makes me uncomfortable when you do this behavior, they are more able to say, I didn't mean to project that.
Wow.
I'm sorry that you... No?
I mean, hey, like she said, the dynamic is here.
Yeah.
I guess to an extent I can accept that because our circle, my circle, including you and inclusive of our other mutual friends, is so small for me that I get that
like Cheerio small.
Like I was so, like my circle so small I was at the point of cutting myself off. Okay? But to an extent I can appreciate that because you all.
Yeah.
But outside
we can have that conversation that like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But outside that, I don't find that I have that type of connection, and that's fine. You know, I just typically find that with expressing my thoughts or whatever to the outside world, beyond the scope of my friends, it's easier with males as it is to females.
So like, okay, how do males respond to something like, you know, because again, I've never had this experience, you know, this has really hurt my feelings, and I'm hurt because of this action. Like in your experience, how does a male respond to that?
That's a good question in that I don't know that there's ever been a time that I've been short for words. So I'm gonna tell you how I feel. If I say that I feel like you've hurt my feelings, and that's that, and you know, there's this expectation that I have that you understand that, and if not, then we have to have a dialogue about it.
But how do they respond in that dialogue? I guess in my experience, again, because we're all, I mean, generally speaking, that's something we talked about in the first video, that we come in from our own experiences. So in your experience, how do the males
there's been like this, okay, I'm sorry, there's an apologetic stance that I'm sorry, can you help me understand where you're coming from, kind of thing.
Okay.
So that's the experiences that I've had.
Okay.
But I make it quite clear, and I think too, you know, in my previous friendships, whatever, I'm quite intentional about where we are with our friendship.
Good. And that's important too, especially like I find that male and female relationships, like I've been to the point where like I've been naive enough to think, oh well, we're just friends, blah 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 blah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. But no. I don't know, and you guys can drop a comment if you want to, if you have been in a circumstance where like you didn't have to clearly define boundaries with a
No, you
friend.
gotta always define boundaries.
Yeah, but I learned that the difficult.
You got to
I learned that the difficult way, because again,
Yes.
when I was like, and again, this is like when I first met y'all too in social service, I was like naive enough to think like, oh, where's friend? Blah, blah.
No.
So I mean, I've evolved enough to know that you have to clearly define boundaries. But if you are in a circumstance where you didn't have to define a boundary or declare a boundary, let us know in the comments so we can read it and have a comment about it. But I'm at the stage now where like I have to clearly define a boundary. So shout out to her for that.
Yeah, for me, I've always been one to. I feel I've always been one to define boundaries. I don't like wishy-washy. And listen, this is again about growing up and being different and having different perspectives. Either it's black or it's white. I don't do the middle. I don't do the gray.
That is very Scorpio of you, Jarrell.
Whatever. But I don't do the gray. I understand that people live in the gray.
Okay.
I have no problem with that.
Okay.
But for me,
appreciate it.
For me, personally, are we black or we white?
So drop us comments in the comment section about your intentions, especially as it relates to like friendships, I guess, with the opposite sex. We've had different experiences.
Definitely. Yeah, so let us know. What's that been like? Are you black? Are you white? Are you in the gray? And listen, there's no right or wrong answer to that. It's all about your experience.
It depends on the person. It depends on the relationship. I'm gonna say that for me, it makes sense to define the boundaries.
Yep.
But that's something that I had to learn. Because again, I thought...
Yes, so I agree. You have to define boundaries. At some point or another, it might not come from the onset, but at some point or another, you have to clarify, what does this friendship mean, or what is this situationship, relationship, whatever you want to call it. Defining boundaries is important. So...
Speaking of boundaries...
Yes.
What do you think of... There's a portion of the black community, this is a segue, guys, that is still supporting Robert R. Kelly. They're still supporting his music and his artistry in the wake of Lifetime's documentary Surviving R. Kelly. The argument that I've seen is that, we've been known that R. Kelly has been like this. R. Kelly has married Aaliyah when she was only 15. R. Kelly has been on them tapes pissing in the mouth of young girls, and this is something that we've overlooked. And so people are like, we've been overlooking it for so long, and now that the white people have seen that this is wrong, saying is not a word. I hope that Jarrell, I would just like to take a moment to thank Jarrell for doing the editing of all our videos. She
I don't know if
edited.
you cut that out though.
I know. We're gonna have to like leave this in and I can just be shame. But, it's now coming to the forefront. Lifetime has backed the survivors, and Lifetime has put on this documentary that details Kelly's, I guess, sins. I don't mean to put that in quotes because he's sinned. He's been disgraceful. So what do you think of the boundaries that R. Kelly's have crossed, and not only R. Kelly,
but the people who supported him along the way, helping him,
and not even along the way, after
the enlightenment.
Okay, after the Surviving R. Kelly.
This is my whole take on R. Kelly, and I won't say mute R. Kelly. I say cancel R. Kelly.
Boom.
And I said what I said.
Hey.
Who feels some type of way about it? No tea, no shade.
This is that I said what I said.
Yes.
Kind of yeah.
Cancel R. Kelly. Now, my whole stance with the boundaries that Mr. Kelly crossed. At the end of the day, I understand that there's a lot of things that go into play. He was a victim of sexual abuse. There were a lot of things that were going on with him as a